And now, it's the 2K Online Franchise Sports Report with your host Marcus Reed and Ava Turner.
Welcome back to the 2K Online Franchise Radio Network.
It's Thursday, December 19th.
You're with Marcus and Ava for another deep dive.
That's right.
And today we're tackling our second mid-season report of 6 for the teams on a bye this week.
This deep dive is all about your Houston Texans.
Man, last year was something else, wasn't it?
It really was.
That Super Bowl win against the 49ers was electric.
Definitely.
But can Coach Newen and the Texans keep up that momentum?
Well, that's what we're here to figure out.
We've got all the stats.
Injury reports.
And playoff standing.
To really get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay, let's dive right in.
Sounds good.
First things first.
Are we seeing a Super Bowl hangover?
The Texans are sitting at 4-2 right now. Not bad.
It's a respectable record, for sure.
Especially after that dominant 15-2 season last year.
But it's definitely a step back.
So what's going on?
Yeah.
Is it the pressure of defending the title?
Or is the AFC South just getting tougher?
Well,
the AFC South is definitely more competitive this season.
how so?
Well, you've got the Jaguars right there with the Texans at 4-2.
Oh, wow.
And both of their losses this season were against the Jags.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
So maybe it's a bit of both.
possibly.
Okay.
Let's take a look at C.J. Stroud.
Okay.
He's still a top performer.
Yeah, I was looking at his stats earlier.
Sitting at 7th in the league for passing yards with 1,930,
Really?
20 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions.
Wow, those are some pretty impressive numbers.
They are.
Especially considering he's the defending Super Bowl MVP.
Especially considering how defenses are targeting him.
Oh, yeah.
He's facing a lot more pressure this year, but he's still delivering.
Okay.
His completion percentage is actually up slightly from last season,
Really?
and his yards per attempt are pretty consistent.
So he's adapted to the pressure.
It seems like it.
It sounds like he's not regressing at all.
Not at all.
Okay, good to know.
He's still the heart of that offense.
Now, let's flip the field
Okay.
and talk about the defense.
Ooh.
Is it holding up?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
The stats seem a little shaky.
The defense is definitely where we're seeing the biggest difference from last season.
Okay.
Right now, they're ranked 19th in the league for total yards allowed.
19th.
Uh-huh.
Last year, they were a top 10 defense.
I know.
What happened?
Well, for starters, they're giving up 28.3 points per game.
28 points.
That's almost 10 points more than last year.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
It is.
What's going on there?
Well, injuries have played a role.
Okay.
Linebacker Henry Tattoo dislocated his elbow back in week 3.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And he's a cornerstone of their defense.
He is.
He's projected to be out for another week or 2.
And his absence is noticeable, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like they're missing a key piece of the puzzle.
So until he's back, they're going to need to find a way to compensate.
Exactly.
Okay.
Coach Newen has his work cut out for him.
Okay, so we've got a bit of a mixed bag here.
We do.
The offense is still humming along,
Thanks in large part to C.J. Stroud.
but the defense is struggling.
Partly due to injuries.
And that brings us to a crucial question.
What's that?
Can they still make a playoff run?
Well, despite the bumps in the road, the Texans are still tied for first place in the AFC South.
They are.
Yeah.
Wow.
But with the Jaguars breathing down their necks and tough matchups coming up, they're going to need to step up their game.
Especially on defense.
Especially on defense.
All right, so the big question is, what's the most impactful change Coach Newen can make to get the team back to that championship form?
That's what we're going to dig into.
After the break.
Stay tuned.
Ooh, I like it.
A little cliffhanger.
A little suspense.
Keep them coming back for more.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So I used the savings from switching to Progressive 30 years ago to buy tickets to the championship game. You know, between those two teams that didn't exist 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm a big Alaska Palm Trees fan. Which is a team now? In the future?
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
And now back to Marcus Reed and Ava Turner on the 2K Online Franchise Radio Network.
Welcome back to the 2K Online Franchise Radio Network. We left you with a big question before the break. What's the single most impactful change Coach Newen could make to get this team back to championship form?
I was thinking about that during the break.
Were ya?
Yeah. And you said the offense is still performing well. even with C.J. Stroud facing more pressure.
Exactly. And you also have to remember that Stroud's receiving core with Stephon Diggs at the helm is still one of the most dangerous in the league.
Yeah, I don't think I'd change much offensively.
Really?
Maybe some minor tweaks to the play calling,
Like what?
like incorporating more run plays to keep defenses on their toes.
Right. Keep him guessing.
Yeah.
But you did say the defense is where the real work needs to be done.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They're giving up way too many points, and if you look at the total yards allowed, they're ranked 19th in the league.
That is a big difference from last year. So what's the solution? Is it more blitzing?
It's interesting you bring that up.
Different personnel grouping?
I think the biggest issue is Henry Totowa's absence.
The linebacker who dislocated his elbow.
Yes, he might not be the flashiest player, but he's the anchor of that defense.
Okay.
It's like a ship without its rudder. They're a bit lost without him.
But he's only out for another week or two, right?
True. But remember, they face the Chargers,
Oh, yeah.
the 49ers,
Yikes.
and then the Chiefs.
All tough opponents.
All tough opponents. So you're saying his absence is having a ripple effect on the entire defense.
Yeah.
Until Tutu is back at 100%, Coach Nguyen needs to come up with a plan to compensate for that loss.
So what's the move?
Rig.
Trade for another linebacker, move some players around.
Trades are tricky midseason.
Okay.
The solution lies in coaching.
Oh, interesting.
Nguyen needs to get creative with his defensive schemes,
Okay.
disguise blitzes, and utilize more zone coverage.
Essentially maximize the talent he already has.
Right. It's about minimizing the damage until Tutu can return.
Makes sense. And hope that other key defensive players like Danielle Hunter and Christian Harris elevate their game.
Exactly. It has to be a team effort. If they can weather the storm until Tutu is back, they've got a shot at the playoffs.
And maybe even another deep run.
Maybe it all depends on how they respond to this adversity. This is where Coach Nguyen's leadership will truly be tested.
Okay, so their fate isn't sealed, but they need to figure out their defense. Now, let's look at some individual performances. We talked about C.J. Stroud's decent numbers so far.
He's doing well.
Yeah.
But you know who else is having a phenomenal season?
Who?
Stephon Diggs.
Oh, yeah.
He's leading the league in receiving yards with 709.
Man, he's unstoppable. And don't forget how clutch he was in the Super Bowl last year.
He's Stroud's go-to guy,
Yeah.
a real difference maker even in those losses to the Jaguars. Diggs still racked up 140 and 84 receiving yards.
Wow, so you're saying Diggs could be the key to unlocking the Texans' full potential this season.
He's certainly a major factor. If he can maintain this level of performance, it'll alleviate some of the pressure on the defense.
And maybe inspire other players to step up their game.
Absolutely. He leads both on and off the field. Now, let's not forget about the defense, even with their struggles. There are some positives.
Like who?
Jalen Pitre. He's showing potential, which is encouraging. Now for context. Let's glance at the rest of the AFC South. Remember, the Jaguars are also at 4-2.
Yeah, and they've already beaten the Texans twice this season.
Right. The Titans are currently at 2-4, so they're still in the mix, but they need to start winning some games.
And the Colts are at the bottom of the division with a 1-5 record.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of ground to cover.
It's going to be a tight race in the AFC South, that's for sure.
Yay, predictions.
Too early to tell, but the Texans have the talent and experience to win the division again. But as we've said, that defense needs to improve.
All right, so let's shift focus to coaching.
Okay.
Sean Nguyen leading the Texans to a Super Bowl victory is no easy feat.
No, it's not.
But this season presents different challenges.
It does.
It's going to be interesting to see how he adapts.
Exactly. He needs to find a way to get the defense back on track. That's the million-dollar question.
And he needs to do it without making any major personnel changes midseason.
Precisely, it's all about adjustment strategy and motivating his players. And let's not forget, there's immense pressure on him as a defending Super Bowl champion.
So the pressure's on, but he's a capable coach, right?
He's proven himself. He's got the experience, the talent around him, and the support of the organization. I have faith in Coach Nguyen.
Okay, good. We've got faith in Coach Nguyen.
Yeah.
But what about the team as a whole? Do they have the mental toughness to overcome these obstacles and repeat as champions?
That's the real question. We know they have the talent.
But talent alone doesn't win championships.
You're right. They need leadership resilience and a belief in themselves. They need that swagger they had last season, that confidence that made them unstoppable.
So the Texans are at a crossroads. Will they crumble or will they rise to the occasion?
The next few weeks will be telling.
Okay, here's something for you to consider. If the Texans make the playoffs, what do you think will be the deciding factor in their success?
That's a tough one. It's going to take a combination of factors.
Like what?
Well, defense needs to step up. That's a given.
Yep.
C.J. Stroud needs to continue to play at a high level. He's the heart and soul of that offense. And their star players, guys like Stephon Diggs, Jalen Petrie, and Danielle Hunter, need to make big plays in big moments.
So it comes down to individual talent and collective effort.
Exactly. And let's be honest, a little bit of luck never hurts.
So the Texans' fate hangs in the balance. Can they rediscover their championship form?
It's going to be an exciting ride, that's for sure. The second half of the season in the AFC South is always a nail-biter.
Well, they're on a bye this week.
Which gives Coach Newen some time to analyze, strategize, and prepare for the challenges ahead.
And with a tough schedule coming up, he's going to need all the time he can get.
Remember, they're the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Every team wants to take them down.
All right, let's leave you with this. Think back to that Super Bowl victory last season. What were the key ingredients that made the Texans so dominant? Can they recapture that magic this year? Something to ponder as we head into the second half of the season. Well, folks, there you have it. Our deep dive on the Houston Texans, a team with Super Bowl aspirations, but some serious questions to answer on the defensive side of the ball.
Will they rise to the occasion, or will they crumble under the pressure?
Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. It's going to be a thrilling ride to the finish line in the AFC South. Be sure to tune in next week as we continue our deep dives on the rest of the league. Until then, keep those controllers warm and those franchise dreams alive.
And as always, we're here to guide you through the 2K online franchise.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive, so stay tuned.
This has been a presentation of the 2K Online Radio Network. For more information, visit our website at 2kolf.com.